Good evening, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all on the call. Lots of you have come through and you have been eagerly awaiting at the back there. I hope you guys can see us. Alinka, give us a wave over from Italy. Yay!
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's great to have you here.
This is the very first time I have run a webinar with a video webcam, and there's really no huge PowerPoint presentation, guys, as you're used to from me. Alinka's got this awesome little chart that she's going to be taking you through her 4P methodology that has enabled her to sell over 100,000 books. How awesome is that? And I got connected to her through a friend in the US. So isn't it wonderful how our businesses can be super global? And I really appreciate you coming and sharing this, Alinka, because you're the online queen. I like to think, whereas I do a lot of the things tangible and hands-on.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited about your business. It's very, I think, unique that you do all these meetings all over Australia, right? I think that's super exciting in person, whereas I do mostly, online meetings like this one. And, my activity is online, and that's what we will focus on a lot during this webinar.
I love it. I love it. Well, that's a perfect compliment for my guys. And they're also excited. Megan's there saying, hi, I'm so excited. Judith, who's soon to write a book with me. Linda, I hope you've got the sound back. Good evening, Karen. I had her before. And a few of my authors that are coming next week to the retreat. So they all want to and are eagerly learning from you. So what we decided with Alinka, guys, is that she'll deliver the content, and all going well, we'll broadcast obviously the video as well for you, because I believe it's just a new flavor that we're trying out something new, and we pray that the internet gremlins will stay away. And I will give you the official introduction if you like for Alinka. I do have to read it, so you will see me reading it here. But she is a multi-award winning and #1 best-selling author and coach. She has sold over 100,000 copies of her books, and she helps thousands of authors um, market their books so that they achieve bestseller status. She is the CEO of Library Bub, which connects indie authors with libraries. She has been featured on Fox Business Network, Author Marketing Club, The Author Hangout, Examiner, She Knows, She Writes, The Writer's Life, and many more. Also, I know that Alinka is mum of two very little kitties, same as me. And let's hear what she's got to say. I've got my pen and paper ready. I will be taking notes here as well. So take it away, Alinka.
Okay, excellent. Can everybody start?
So I'm just double checking. Is everyone seeing us and hearing us? Just to make sure in the question box. Yes. Okay, it's all good. Yeah.
Okay. So, instead of a big PowerPoint presentation, which I could create, probably a 50-slide one, I think it makes much more sense to show you this chart, especially if you have a photographic memory. So this chart is based on a book I wrote, which is called How I Sold 80,000 Books. And I created this chart to help people sort of remember about what was in it. So it's a chart that you can stick on your fridge or hang at your desk, so you can remember about all the elements that need to be taken into consideration when you want to launch a best-selling book. Okay, so this strategy is called the 4Ps, the 4Ps of marketing mix. And the 4Ps are these: product, place, price, and promotion. And they are described in great detail in the book, How I Sold 80,000 Books, which you will get for free if you hang until the end of the webinar, which we will close within an hour. So half an hour I will dedicate to an overview of these 4Ps, and then we'll do 15 to 20 minutes of questions. Sounds good?
Yay!
Okay, good. At least
That's
you're saying something. Otherwise, I'm sort of, I don't see or hear anybody, but I know you guys are there.
Yes, they're writing lots of comments. Alinka can't actually see the question box, guys, so I can. So I'll manage any comments, but I won't interrupt.
No, do interrupt. You just jumped in if there's, I said we take the questions at the end, but if there's, something that really makes sense to mention right now, feel free to jump in. It's not a university lecture. We're a little, flexible here.
Sounds good. Everyone's just saying yay, yay, super excited.
Okay. Okay. So product. Your book is obviously your product. And I divide this product into three parts. The core part of your book, your add-ons, and metadata. So the core of your book is obviously your manuscript, what you've written, and that needs to be top-notch. And I know that if you're following Natasha, then you wrote a top-notch book, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I will just mention these very briefly, that you need to take care of editing and have it professionally edited no matter what. It's a good idea to be part of a critique group. For example, I belong to a critique group of 5 children's book writers, and it's the 3rd year that we're exchanging manuscripts. Of course, these are children's books, so they're very short. But every month we send out a manuscript, and we get back 4 critiques. And I saw how I improved during these 2 years, in a couple of months. Since we started, I think I was clueless, and now I'm really much better at writing children's books and also at critiquing. And how do you get into a critique group? Usually, if you do a writing course, they sort of naturally form during and after that course. So you keep in touch with your writing buddies, and continue to write. So the more books you write, the better you get. Of course, the first book is super exciting.
Yeah.
Ooh, train. Of course, the first book you ever publish is super exciting, but it probably, well, it's only at the start. Each subsequent book will be better than the last. So, do you, Natasha, organize critique groups, or is it up to the, your participants to do it by themselves?
It's up to them, yes. We haven't really, gone into something like this, but it's a great idea, and I'm here to learn lots of ideas. But I can so resonate with you saying every book gets better and better, and it so does.
And you already have contacts, so if you feel like you want to do a critique group, to keep honing your craft, it's your buddies in the group that you did your
retreat
weekend. Is it called retreat? Yeah. So you can do that. So that's the core of your book. It has to be a high quality book, because it's very difficult to sell a book that's not very good. You can make a good impression with all the add-ons, but then when people start reading it, they'll say nah. So it's important to have a really good book core. I mean, above average. Okay, it doesn't have to be War and Peace, but it does have to be an above average book. So that's not so difficult. Above average. Okay, now the add-ons. So these are really important. Cover. When you do the cover of your book, you don't have to spend hundreds of dollars. Actually, I just recently published a book under a pen name and created a cover, which I had it done, and I paid $10 for it, and I get so many compliments for that cover. If you want to check it out, it's called The Descendant on Amazon. Maybe I can bring it. Can you wait a second?
Yeah.
I'll just hop in. Yeah, I have it on that shelf over there. Just wait a second.
Love it. And we, as you guys know, we use Nick over in Macedonia for some of our authors, and he does mock-up for $5. Love it. Wow, that's beautiful. Very
so yeah. So the idea here is that this book has to look good as a thumbnail on Amazon. So what you need is, something very readable.
Yep.
The title needs to be seen as a thumbnail when you scroll down books on Amazon, and one big image.
Mm.
Okay, one big image. If you do an image, you can also do a text-only cover. So, you know, big text. For nonfiction, text only with some kind of image in the background is also very good. This is nonfiction. But, you know, a cover is a cover, fiction or nonfiction. And you just can't do these, you know, little tiny background landscape things, because most people will be checking it out online and they won't be able to see. So it won't attract attention. Okay, so now that you know that, make sure to create a good cover. And I actually got a guy on Fiverr who did it for me.
Mm.
You can probably try 2 or 3. You know, if it costs $5 or $10, you can get several designs. And then when you like the design, one of them, you can ask, you know, for more, for the create space cover, this one, the big cover with, you know, front and back. You ask for it after you've approved the, you know, the initial cover. Okay, formatting. So this is really important. Not every indie author focuses on it, but it's important to have good formatting. And I recommend Scrivener because it sort of formats for you when you export your book, especially if you write, you know, full-length books, not children's books. Scrivener is not for children's books, it's for full-length books. And it's also great for converting your book into all the possible formats, like you know, EPUB and MOBI for Amazon, PDF. Well, PDF you can do also otherwise, but all those, you know, especially EPUB and MOBI.
Mm.
There's a third one I think I'm forgetting. So yeah, that's good. Then, okay, email marketing. So it's a good thing I brought this book here. So when you open the book, and the same counts for digital books even more. When you open it, I say here, find out what happens before in the beginning, and there's a link to go check out the beginning, and then the cover. And this, when people go here to this link, they land on a landing page, leave their email address, and get the book. So I have their email, and I have this offer at the beginning and at the end. And actually here I included it in the epilogue so that people really go and check it out at the beginning and at the end. So this is something you do for free because you get people on your mailing list, which is super important, and you're not paying anything because it's already in your book. It's built in. Request for review. You can also, yeah, you know, I don't do the say what I, no, do what I say, but I don't do the do what I say thing. I live the do what I do philosophy. So request for review. Here it says if you enjoyed the book, well, leave a review. So it's also built in. Like, it's important not to give people too many tasks here. Like, you know, all the links to all your books and all your websites and your Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere, everything, because then people will just, no, they won't do anything. They'll be paralyzed. But if you include 1 or 2 links, like what you really want is people on your mailing list, because once they're on your mailing list, you can send them emails telling them, follow me on Facebook, or, you know, here's my next book. Can you write a review? So if you are to choose only 1 link that you want in your book, it's to your mailing list. So to the free offer. And of course, this book that I offer here, the beginning, it's a really short book. It's not the 300-page book. It's like a 30-page book. But it's, you know, its purpose is to get those people who are extra excited about my writing, to get them on my mailing list and to have a channel of communication with them. Okay, so feature of other books that I said, if appropriate, especially if you have a sequel. You can also have a sequel in nonfiction. Biography and picture. Well, this is for the back cover. So this is my pen name. Ali Capraro is my pen name. But I still have a short bio at the back of the book, and the picture is the same picture that I use. So people want to see what their author looks like, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and so that we covered the core and add-ons, and now we'll move to metadata.
We just got a question here from Anne. Why do you use a pen name?
Okay. Sorry. Okay, I use a pen name because it's a completely different genre from the one I write, because I use Alinka Rutkowska for my children's books and for my nonfiction for authors. And I just thought that some people might, think it's just too many genres in the same hat, and will she make up her mind? Can't be good if, there are too many genres. Plus, I also wanted to try out a different surname, but I think it's cool.
Oh.
It's actually my husband's surname. And Ali, well, some people call me Ali. So it really is my name, but not the, official name.
Yeah.
And another thing was that I wanted to prove, it was sort of an experiment, I wanted to prove to my authors on my list that I'm able to launch a book in a new genre with a pen name that nobody's ever heard of, that I can launch it with 100 reviews. And I did. So,
Awesome.
yay!
Yeah. Someone else on the call just asked, what is a review? And I'm assuming it's the Amazon review that you would get. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the Amazon. Yeah. The Amazon review. Some people add a link directly to that part, that when you go to Amazon, it brings you to exactly to the box where you write the review.
Yeah.
Not just to the Amazon page.
Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon review. Important to get those.
Awesome.
Any other questions? I think it makes more sense to take questions as we're going through the whole thing.
That's why just some comments have been coming through, but no, the two questions were about your pen name and what do you mean on the review? And I said to the person Amazon, but I just wanted to confirm with you.
Okay. Well, the metadata is obviously the title. Yep. So when you create the title for your book and subtitle, especially for your nonfiction, but for fiction as well, you need to load it with keywords. So there's software that does it for you, but you can also go into the Amazon search box and start typing something that makes sense. Start typing the first letters, and it will give you suggestions. So that's also an indication of what people are searching for, because that's essentially what you need in your title and your subtitle. Of course, if you don't want to, have a really long title, like I didn't. The Descendant, I really like The Descendant. But Guardians of the World, these are already, highly searched keywords. Yeah. Books with Guardians and Worlds. Of course, I made sure there's, there's no title or subtitle that is exactly the same. But, Guardians of something like Soul Guardians, Ancient Guardians, etc., etc. I even know the authors of those books. But Guardians, so people who read this genre, young adult fantasy, fantasy romance, so they look for Guardians. It's even easier for nonfiction. For example, the book that you will get is called, well, let's click here right now so that, oh, here it is, so that you can see the cover. So it says, How I Sold 80,000 Books. Okay, so these are not exactly keywords, but this is an eye-catching title. But here's the subtitle, and the subtitle is full of keywords. Self-publishing through Amazon and other retailers. So self-publishing and Amazon, these are highly searched for keywords. And book marketing for authors. Yeah, obviously this one is as well.
Yeah.
So that's how I chose the title for this book. Because the book started from an article that I was requested to write for authors. And it was really long. And someone said, this would be a good book.
Yes.
And I agreed. So then it became a book, which was a little bit thin, but it was for free. And then I added more meat into it and became a full-length nonfiction book, and I started charging for it. So that's sort of how it developed. And the title could have been anything, really, in the book marketing area. But your title is, one of the title and the cover are the most important, tools you have. Sorry. But the thing is that many authors, not when you're with Natasha and you're, really efficient and do it fast, but some authors, especially fiction authors, they pour their heart and soul for years before they have their book or the first version of their book. And then they rewrite and rewrite and rewrite, and they're never ready. And when they're finally ready, they just slap on any cover and, whatever title and don't even think about it. Then when their book is not selling, they start searching the internet for, help, why is my book not selling? So I understand that, at the end of such a tiresome journey, you just want to have it published.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, you will really get, return on that time investment and very small financial investment for the title and the cover.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And the description, obviously the description, you need to fill it with keywords as well. So here you go, the first P. Sorry, I have a little cold. Luckily, you can't catch it through the computer.
Yeah, you're in springtime, aren't you? Spring cold.
Yeah, spring cold.
Anne says when they're finally ready, they're usually dead. Then it gets published and the children benefit. Laugh out loud. Cool.
Yeah. So, product done. Any questions for product?
No, all good. Keep going.
All right, place. So this is where you should place your book.
Mm-hmm.
So first online.
Yep.
So the obvious, Amazon. Well, Amazon for the paperback, I use CreateSpace for this. Kindle Direct Publishing for the digital version. Then you have Barnes & Noble, Nook, Apple, Kobo, and the aggregators. So the question can be whether to use an aggregator like Draft to Digital or Smashwords, so that you upload it there, and then it sort of uploads to all the platforms, or whether you should upload to every platform manually. So everybody decides for themselves, but I think that you should upload manually to the big ones like Amazon and Apple, Kobo. Nook is experiencing some problems, so I don't know if they're even to survive. Because when you upload through aggregators, they take a cut, of course, from your sales through the various platforms. So Amazon, Kindle Direct Publishing, Kobo, and Apple, so iTunes, do these by yourself, and then the aggregators for all the rest. And your website. So it's important to be able to sell your books from your website. Just remember that when you enter the Kindle KDP Select program, you can only sell on Amazon, which means you can't even sell on your website. Your website is the best place if you can direct people there, because there's no middleman. You take 100% or almost 100% of the revenue. Okay, so that's online. And then offline. So I've had some success with selling books in places that are not bookstores. But of course, bookstores, if you have your book via... So offline is mostly for paperbacks, of course. If you have your book in CreateSpace, your book people can order your book in bookstores, but it doesn't mean it will physically be in bookstores. It usually means it won't. But there are many places, especially if you do nonfiction, but also fiction. I've had success with fiction. You can have them in many places, many other places, like schools. If you have a children's book or something, you can offer it to schools. And, that's sort of writing one by one to the schools. Usually start in your district. See if you can get a nice, article in the newspaper, so that when you approach other schools, you already have something fancy to show them. Libraries. So it has been very difficult for indie authors to get into libraries, but there are now a couple services on the net that will spread the word about your book to libraries.
Yep.
One of them is, so here, shameless self-promotion while we're at it. And one of them is LibraryBub. It's called librarybub.com, which is my service that connects indie authors with libraries. So that's one way.
I'll post it up for them in the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, librarybub.com.
Can I interrupt you? There's a couple of questions.
Of course.
Anita says, where do you put the Amazon link directly that was mentioned before, the link for review? Is it at the back of the book?
Yeah, it makes more sense.
Yep.
When somebody has read the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the back of the book.
Cool. No, and Alinka's got a bit of a cold. Someone says, do you suffer from allergies? Sue is asking, when you enter through the aggregator, can you turn off Apple, Kobo, and Kindle? Because you said do those separately when you
Yes.
Yep. Perfect.
Yes.
And one more question here from Karen says, for nonfiction, how would you approach the priority of listing the book? Example, who to list with first, second, etc. So would you put it on Amazon first? I'm guessing that's what you mean, Karen. Would you put it on Amazon, then Kindle? Is that the priority of how you would?
I would put it everywhere at the same time, unless you want to go for KDP Select, which gives you some some bonuses like 3 days and Kindle Countdown, and opinions differ. So there are different views on this. Some authors are really happy with KDP Select, so only sell on Amazon for 3 months. It's a deal that you sign digitally if you click a button for 3 months. So you can try that and see how that works out for you. And then and then after those 3 months, you can have your book everywhere. Yeah. But I find that especially if you want to run promotions like BookBub and all the other big ones, it's best if your book is available everywhere, because even though the majority of your sales will come through Amazon, there are still people who love their Kobo readers and others. I just recently heard that Kobo released, or is going to release, an e-reader that is waterproof and sandproof, so you can take it to the beach. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Shall I continue?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, then you have supermarkets. It's difficult to compete there because they have a lot of mass market paperbacks, printed in China. But especially if you're a local author, if you live in the States, not in Italy like myself, just go to your nearest supermarket, States or Australia, sorry. Australia, anyway, in an English-speaking country, you can go to the nearest supermarket and, tell them about your book, show them how relevant it is to the demographic, and maybe ask them if you can do a signing. As long as you're able to bring clients, and you can prove that people will come and buy, and the store will make revenue, then I don't see why any supermarket or coffee shop or any place why they wouldn't want a local author. It's always exciting to have an event, and people love to meet authors. Even though for us it's normal that we're authors, we hang out with authors all the time, but we're still, a very small percentage of the population. And when somebody discovers that you're an author, they're all over you. Wow, an author! And what do you write? And can I have an autographed copy? So let's not underestimate that, the power of that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's something you can definitely leverage. Then airports. In the book, How I Sold 80,000 Books, I give you links where you can where you should go to offer, to try to present your book. I don't remember the link right now, but there's some central organization that sort of distributes to all the airports.
Wow.
And a lot of the supermarkets. Yeah, but I don't remember what the link is right now, but you have it in the book.
Yeah.
But of course you can go, centrally, or you can go through the, back door, especially if you're, local.
Yeah.
Cruise lines. So I have this series of two children cruising different ports. So they, it's very related to cruise lines and to the ports, the ship visits. So they sell on a cruise line. But probably worth mentioning that my husband works on board, so I had all the contacts. I mean, he introduced me to the person in the retail department, and I took it from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you don't have, such a, everybody has some contacts. Sometimes you're not even aware that you do.
Yeah.
But it's best if somebody can introduce you. It really works. But if not, you can use LinkedIn, for example, and look for the retail department of the organization that you think will be a good fit for your book, and try to start talking with them.
Nice.
Gas station, same thing. And depending on what your book is about, you can do therapist offices, anything, thinking out of the box. Like I know of a children's author who wrote a book about chicks. Picture book about chicks, and they sell it on some farms and agriculture, bed and breakfast, because it's related, chicks. And now something even smarter is, rather than write a book and then try to see where it fits, write a book that you already know that will be requested. So maybe you can partner with some kind of organization that's related to what you're writing about, and tell them that you can write something specifically for them, and then see how many copies they order. So that's something to think about. As long as you're flexible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can conquer the world if you're flexible.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay, so covered place, online and offline. Questions?
Nothing at the moment. They're listening. I think Megan just said boom, meaning that she likes what you've been saying, and that was a great insight. Like for people who perhaps get good at writing, and they can do books specific to an organisation. That's a wonderful way to get it funded, but also then they. It's almost like as if they become almost like a ghostwriter for them.
Also, yeah.
Yeah. Great content from Anne Marie. Content's great. Just a lot to take in. So listening intently from Kim. So keep going. Oh, tell us about price. I'd love to know how you price things up.
Well, this will be short. So the physical books, I usually check out the competitors and see how they price the books.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to sell in bulk, like to cruise ships or organizations, the standard retail discount is 55 to 60%. So when you price your book, you have to make sure that So if your book is $20 on the market, the cruise ship will want to buy it for 8,
Yeah.
or whatever 55% of 20 is. So yeah, so for less than $10. So when you price your book, you have to make sure that after you've sold it to them for $8, that you're still making money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on CreateSpace, you can see they give you the minimum price that you can price your book at is, for example, $6. And so then you have to sort of calculate it this way, which will probably mean that your book will be expensive, relatively expensive. It will, our indie books, indie paperbacks will never compete with the mass market paperbacks printed in China. But we can absolutely compete with our digital versions.
Yeah.
So the physical books, that was what I had to say about the physical books. And now the ebooks. So this is where we can compete with traditional publishing houses. And our most powerful weapon is permanently free. Okay, well, we already talked about KDP Select, so we already covered that. And permanently free and series is related. So when you think about writing books now, think about writing a series immediately. So this book is a series, first of a series, and it's permanently free on Amazon. So it's packed with keywords, has a good cover and title, but it's my 20th book, so I knew what I was doing. And it's permanently free. It's in the top 900 most downloaded books constantly, every day, and I'm not promoting it anywhere. It's just the keywords and the cover, and it's for free. So
how many downloads?
That I get 100, 200, 300 downloads a day.
Wow.
Yeah, but years of experience.
Yeah.
And so this is the first one, and then I'll have the second one, and the third one will obviously be, I will be charging for them, and that's how I get hooked on books. Okay, many authors say, why should I give away my book for free? I don't want to. I want to make money. I spend so much time writing it, Because nobody will buy it. Why won't anybody buy it? Okay, if you sign up to BookBub or BookGorilla or any of those sites, every day I, reader, get an email with a list of 10 books and then another list of 20 books because I'm signed up to a couple. And first thing I do, I check out which is free, and then I check out the genre if I like it. And so if it's, for example, young adult fantasy that now I read, and it's free, I buy it. If it costs $1, I don't buy it. Why should I buy a book? Why should I pay $1 if right below it or the next day I'll get a similar book for free?
Yeah.
So it's this sort of mentality.
Yeah.
But I did buy, but then I gather these on my Kindle, and I have like 1,000 books on Kindle now. But now, when I want to read them, I download the ones that I think I want to read. Usually, most of them were for free. And there was a book that I downloaded for free. It was book 1, and I liked it so much that I bought all the other installments, and there were 8 in total.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a really smart strategy, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're doing nonfiction and your book is your business card, and you did the book to drive traffic, to get more clients, the best thing you can do is have it permanently free, because a free book gets 100 times more downloads than a $1 book. So there you got the math.
And is this there's a strategy of is this within Amazon? I'm just trying to clarify the permanently free.
Okay, everywhere. No, on all the platforms. But of course, Amazon will not allow you to publish a book permanently free. What you have to do is publish it for free on iTunes or Kobo, and then you write to Amazon saying, my book is free on other platforms, please price match. And then they put it on free.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And is this only
Yeah,
one book you can have free or more than one?
no, you can give all your books away for free if if you have a big heart.
Right.
You're generous.
Yeah. Cool. And when people download your book, do you get their contact details or you don't? This is not an opt-in.
On Amazon, no, you don't.
No. Yeah. Okay.
No. So the only way I can get their details is, at the back of the book with the download.
Yep.
But it's also good because those are the most passionate readers
Yeah. Sure.
that that like the series. Otherwise, you can get people who downloaded, didn't like it, and you send them an email. Here's my next book, or review my book, and they completely trash it because they don't like it.
Yeah. Cool.
There are sites. There are sites where you can give away your book and get people's emails, like Noise Trade, for example. This is one of those sites.
Voice trade.
Noise Trade. It's called Noise Trade. Yes, you give your book away for free, whether it's free on other retail sites or not. It doesn't matter. You give it away for free there, and you get people's emails. Usually, the first email you send out, about 30% will unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So, you still keep the rest.
Yeah. Cool.
And recently, some big publisher published a book, one author's book, as permanently free, and all the indies were super, super angry and upset because this is our strategy. This is how we can gain fans. This is really where we can compete and get our market share of readers. Because okay, recently there was this book, a young adult fantasy, and there were 5 chapters available for free before the launch. And my editor recommended that I read this book because he's Irish and the book was from an Irish author, by an Irish author. So I said, yeah, okay. So I read the first 5 chapters, and then I was waiting for the whole book to be released. And when the book came out, it was $10 for the digital version.
Oh.
Okay. I won't have to go and live in the streets if I pay $10 for a book. It just didn't seem right. It just didn't seem right to pay $10 for a digital book. So I don't know, $6 I could pay. But so this is really tricky, this pricing strategy.
Yeah.
And it depends what your overall goal is.
Yeah, I agree. Let's take some questions before we move on to the next thing because we're in the last 15 minutes. We want to make sure we go through the promotion bit. So Megan just said I can't write my ideas fast enough. Anita, you might need to catch the recording. I'm not sure what was said about the most powerful method. I can't. I don't know. This was a little bit a while ago, and I think I missed it.
The most powerful method of promotion, I said it's the permanently free.
Permanently free. Yes, the permanently free type, and a lot of people are getting it that it's very smart. The best way to market yourself. You don't get a lot of money anyway in terms of your book, so giving away some for free. Anne Marie, can you show us what was your first book, Alinka?
I don't show it anymore.
It's primary school. That's what I say. That was my primary school.
My first book I published in 2010. It was a nonfiction book.
Yeah.
You can go and look it up on Amazon if you write my name and surname. So there's nothing I can hide. But I don't advertise it because I no longer do that genre. But I was very proud of it, extremely proud.
Yeah.
And the book sold very well, even though I had no idea what I was doing. But now that I look back, it was a very long title. It was a very long subtitle, and it was packed with keywords, even though I didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
So I sold 2,000 copies of that book, I think, in the first 2 or 3 months. Paperbacks, and I made like $10 a copy.
Right.
Because I priced it
Yeah.
high. And so, in the first 2 months, I said, I don't need to work anymore if this is what my life's going to look like. And anyway, I left my corporate job. This was not the only reason. There were other reasons why I left my corporate job.
Yeah.
But this was a nice, cherry icing on the cake. Of course, now I see how naive I was to think that, my book will keep bringing me revenue and I will be able to, maintain a good lifestyle from one book.
Mm.
But it was definitely, a great start.
Mm. And
And I think I was very lucky.
it becomes very addictive, doesn't it? I mean, you're saying this was your 20th book, and I'm about to get my seventh in my hands, and it's like it is because you keep growing and evolving, and you want to keep sharing. Mm.
And you might at a certain point change genres. Or if you've been writing nonfiction, you might want to write a fiction book. You might want to write a memoir that you've had at the back of your mind forever. Or probably everybody has a nonfiction book inside, a how-to book, how to do something.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah,
love it.
the first book usually we really don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
And then when we're not selling so much, then we started researching why is that the case, and then it's better. The writing is better and the marketing is better.
yeah.
So just keep doing it.
Tracy says, do you have all books of a series written before you advertise the first one for free? I'd say not.
No, no, because this one is first one and it's for free, and I don't have the second one. I'm going to start writing it next week.
Yeah. Also,
But the idea is that I already start gaining readers, so they sign up, and when I have book number 2,
yeah,
I already have a bigger fan base to sell it to.
yeah, I love it. Anita said thank you. I think we got it on the got her question answered. Sue's saying 80,000 words non-fiction. How much for e-version? I don't know exactly.
How many words for
Were you
nonfiction
referring
book?
to 80,000 words? Is that?
No, the book is called How I Sold 80,000 Books.
Yeah, I think that's what you mean. Hang on. Valuable information from Renata. What is the period that is not too long between two books if there were a serial of books? So if you were to release the second one now, when would you release it?
I say 6 months is tolerable.
Yeah. And how long does it take you to write a book after writing 20 books from Yolanda?
Well, it depends because this is a full-length book. So it's a full-length. It took me a month to write the first draft of this one. It's a 300-page young adult fantasy. I did it during NaNoWriMo, the National Novel Writing Month. A nonfiction book, I could probably write it in a week if I had an afternoon every day free.
Nice. Nice.
Because I think nonfiction is easier to write. I mean, for me, because if you're able to write like a master's thesis, if if at university, or a term paper or something, then I think it's easier to write nonfiction. Just nice chart like this one. We just need a framework to work with.
Yeah.
So I found this framework because I had to write this. I was requested to write this article for authors. And there's a lot to tell, and how do I tell it without it becoming that one blah 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 that people aren't able to sort of find themselves in. So I found this framework, and I think for nonfiction you just need to find a framework. This is just a basic framework for marketing 101, product place, price, promotion, and then I did these sort of on my own. That's what made sense for me.
Yeah.
So I think it's easier, whereas fiction, you have to make stuff up. But I also do an outline for fiction, and this must be totally a personal type of thing. Some people like to invent worlds and don't feel good when they just can work with what is. Some people just love to have their framework and write the how-to thing. So this was also something new because I've never written such a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
I wrote children's books which are 500 to 1,000 words. Those are picture books, and nonfiction. And this was completely stepping out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I thought it's just so awesome to have a novel and be able to call yourself a novelist. but I'll never be able to write it. I was thinking in September last year. Then in October, I thought, okay, I'll write it. Even if it's going to be a crappy novel, at least it's going to be a novel. And then you can rewrite it.
Yeah.
And now here it is.
No, I love it. Hey, Sue was asking a question. Her book is apparently 80,000 words. How much would she price it as an e-version?
Okay, so 80,000 words is a lot. This one is 50,000 words. So I think 80,000 words, you could split it in two. Can you split it in two, or
I
does
think
it
she
sort
already
of destroy?
I think she's already published it.
It's already published. Haha. So it's not something I can answer lightly. Because if you're an established author like James Patterson, you can price it at whatever you want and people will buy it. But if you're a new author and it's your first book, even though it's a long book, or
If you can't price it, you can't price it. I mean, that's, I think it's up to everyone. If you believe your book is.
I don't want to be the oracle responsible for.
No. Well, let's move into the last P because we're 9 minutes to close, and we want to get these guys. I always promise them that we're going to be on time out of here. So why don't you tell us maybe the key aspects of the promotion P? What is maybe some of the things, because I know a lot of our listeners on the call are non-fiction, they're more how-to business, personal branding. They're the types of people I attract because they come from that personal development kind of angle, leadership, coaches and trainers and things like that. What would be the best promotional avenues for them that you think would work?
Okay, so let's see. With that in mind, I'll pick the ones that are most relevant here. Okay, so within the book, we already covered this, what you need inside the book.
Yeah.
If you get an award, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, if you can get an award and slap it on your cover, that always helps.
Yes.
So that's within the book. Now, online. Okay, so for nonfiction. So if this is, a business, as I said, if it's a business card for your, for what you're doing, for your business, and you wrote the book, for various reasons. And, one of the reasons is to show that you're an authority and you have credibility.
Yeah.
So you wrote the book. You're not just, a business person, you're also an author. So that's, gives you extra points. So what you need to do is have an optimized funnel. As an optimized funnel, write this short, or what, you've already got it. The nonfiction book, that's, I say 15,000. If it's for free, it's okay. 15,000 words. 25,000 words. I think in that range, if you give away your book for free, it's a good, it's a good range. The more you give away for free, the happier the people will be. But you need to be, you have this, imagine this funnel. So you have your book away for free, and at the, here at the top of the funnel are all the people who download your book because they're interested in the subject. And then you have your call to action, which is go to my website and download this other thing that I give you for free. It can be another book or a chart, like this chart that I'm showing you, where you sort of show the book on the chart so it's easier to digest, or whatever that is, of value to your leaders and then to your readers. And, you have fewer people in this funnel. And then when they go download that book, they're on so you have to have your landing page optimized, where people go download your free book, like this one. So, this has to be all optimized, showing the picture of your book and, making it easy for people to sign up and giving them the reason why, if they're still considering signing up. And you put it at the top and at the bottom, and nothing else, no other distractions, because this is how you want to connect with your readers. Yeah. Give them something of value and don't distract them with nothing else. no social media, no other, other activities, no nothing else. And then you have to have, touch email marketing. You need to know how to follow up with these people, what to write to them after, they've signed up. Don't immediately sell to them because people don't buy on the spot, but sort of say, well, what did you think about my book? Maybe you want to review my book. And, by the way, this is an important subject to keep in mind. I have a course or a workshop or a product that will make your life easier if you get it, and sort of continue like this. And when you promote on social media, when you do guest blogging, or wherever you go to promote your book, I suggest giving your book away for free, just like I will be giving away this book for free. Mm-hmm. Because it's the best. I think it's the best single way to have people on your list. And I know that Instagram is cool, and having Facebook followers is great, and having 1 million Twitter followers is great, but having a tiny percentage of those social media followers on your email list is much more powerful, because first of all, you own your email list. It's yours. You can export it to an Excel file and have it on your computer. Mm-hmm. Even if your email provider goes bankrupt, you still have your list, which you cannot say about Facebook or Twitter. And number two, people read their email. Most people first thing in the morning check their email before they go on all the other Facebooks and Instagrams and social media channels of the moment. So that's for nonfiction authors online and offline. Okay, so there's various here, but you're going to have to check them out in the book. But one thing, you always have your business cards with you, even if you go throw out the trash, because you might meet, the next throwing out the trash next to you could be the CEO of the organization that will buy 100,000 copies from you. And if they ask you, you have a lot of trash, blah, 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 or whatever, you might start talking about your book, and you need to have your business card with you always. So that's it.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Couple of questions as we wrap up. A lot of thank yous coming through. Just Fiona says, is it worth putting an award on your book that might be local or small and not well known?
Yes. Well, an award is an award, so as long as it has a nice sticker, or you can just even write it, award-winning author, and then if somebody asks, you said it's the award from this or that.
Yeah.
It's always an award, even if it's local.
Yeah, exactly. You can say award-winning author, and then you can explain what it is rather than saying it's the such and such type of award. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Awesome. So are there any final words or anything you'd like to tell the guys? I'm going to post up the link for them to go and grab a copy of your book. I'm sure there's so much more gold. I've got it. I've scanned through it. It's such a rich book with so much information. I haven't sat down to fully read it. I've read bits and pieces. It's super awesome, and I think everyone should get a copy. So in the chat box, guys, I have posted the link that is actually also on the screen, but this will allow you to go electronically, because obviously you can't click on the screen.
Yeah, so these would be also my departing words, but they're not going to be departing words if you go sign up and get the book. You will see the whole autoresponder thing that I was talking about, and I always reply to emails. So once you sign up, you have my email, and I always reply.
Yes.
99.9% of the time.
Like me. I never go to bed unless I've cleared my inbox.
Yeah, wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
So yes, I within 24 hours, I do reply to all emails from fellow authors, and I'll be super excited to connect with you, because I love talking to fellow authors, and sometimes I am amazed at what people bring with them, at the level of knowledge and intelligence of authors who are on my list. Because sometimes we do other webinars or other activities, or I'm able to talk to people, and there's just some exceptional authors, and everybody brings something unique with them. So I'm always excited to connect with authors wherever you are on your journey to,
Yeah,
best-selling success.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And I think we've all picked
Thank
up
you,
stuff.
Natasha.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being able to connect with your authors.
No, it's been my pleasure, and I picked up two or three things that I hadn't heard of before, like the perma free, and then you talked about noise trade and some of the other things, the aggregators that spread it everywhere and all that sort of stuff. So definitely, I think there's been something for everyone here. Thank you. There's so many thank yous coming through. I can't read through them all, but it's just been crazy. All wow, and thank you guys, and you're so wonderful and insightful webinar. Thank you, Alinka, Nat, Karen. Yep, plenty to digest, lots of information. I'll pull out the most insightful things that I thought would be relevant also to the authors around their personal branding, and share that. They said to me, make sure you're taking notes as well so you can tell us. So enjoy connecting with Alinka, everybody. Obviously, go and grab her book. It's so packed with value. This is not like a 10-page ebook. It's like hundreds of pages. So super cool. All right, have an amazing day. We're off to bed. It's 10 o'clock here in Australia.
Okay.
So
It's lunchtime here in Italy.
yeah, look at you. You also,
So thank you.
yeah, we're getting cold now. I'll
Yeah,
talk.
that's why I have a cold, because I dress like this all the time.
Yeah, thank you, gorgeous. I will talk to you soon and we'll connect again. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.